Namaste, Dhanavad Pranam. By the instruction and grace of our spiritual master, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Mahārāja, we are here reading Srimad Bhagavatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Canto 4, The Creation of the Fourth Order, Chapter 12, Text 26. Anasti tam te pitribir, anyar apyanga karhichit, Atista jagatam vandyam, tad Vishnu paramam padam. Dear King Dhruva, neither your forefathers nor anyone else before you has ever achieved such a transcendental planet. The planet known as Vishnu Loka, where Lord Vishnu personally resides, is the highest of all. It is worshipable by the inhabitants of all other planets within the universe. Please come with us and live there eternally. Purport. When Dhruva Maharaj went to perform austerities, he was very determined to achieve a post never dreamed of by his forefathers. His father was Uttanapad, his grandfather was Manu, and his great-grandfather was Lord Brahma. So Dhruva wanted a kingdom even greater than Lord Brahma could achieve, and he requested Narada Muni to give him facility for achieving it. The associates of Lord Vishnu reminded him that not only his forefathers but everyone else before him was unable to attain Vishnu Loka, the planet where Lord Vishnu resides. This is because everyone within this material world is either a karmi, jnani, or yogi, but there are hardly any pure devotees. The transcendental planet known as Vishnu Loka is especially meant for devotees, not karmis, not jnanis, or yogis. Great rishis or demigods can hardly approach Brahmaloka, and as stated in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmaloka is not a permanent residence. Lord Brahma's duration of life is so long that it is difficult to estimate even the duration of one day in his life. And yet Lord Brahma also dies, as do the residents of his planet. In Bhagavad Gita 8.16, it says, Brahma bhuvana loka punar avartinarjuna. Except for those who go to Vishnu Loka, everyone is subjected to the four principles of material life, namely, birth, death, old age, and disease. The Lord says, Yadgatva na nivartate tadhamma paramamama. The planet from which, once going, no one returns is my supreme abode. In Bhagavad Gita 15.6, Dhruva Maharaj was reminded, you are going in our company to that planet from which no one returns to this material world. Material scientists are attempting to go to the moon and other planets, but they cannot imagine going to the topmost planet, Brahmaloka, for it is beyond their imagination. By material calculation, traveling at the speed of light, it would take 40,000 light years to reach the topmost planet. By mechanical processes, we are unable to reach the topmost planet of this universe. But the process called Bhakti Yogi, as executed by Maharaj Dhruva, can give one the facility not only to reach other planets within this universe, but also to reach beyond this universe to the Vishnu Loka planets. We have outlined this in our small booklet, Easy Journey to Other Planets. Dhanavad Pranam Umadevi.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
Text 27. Itad vimanna pravaram Uttama shloka malina Upasthapitam ayusaman Adhiro dumt tvam arhasi. O immortal one, this unique airplane has been sent by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is worshipped by selected prayers, and who is the chief of all living entities. You are quite worthy to board such a plane. Purport. According to the astronomical calculation, along with the pole star, there is another star, which is called Sishumhara, where Lord Vishnu, who is in charge of the maintenance of this material world, resides. Sishumhara or Dhruva Loka can never be reached by anyone but the Vaishnavas, as will be described by the following shlokas. The associates of Lord Vishnu brought the special airplane for Dhruva Maharaj, and then informed him that Lord Vishnu had especially sent this airplane. Dandavat Pranam Ananda Krishna Prabhu.
Dandavat.
The Vaikuntha airplane does not move by mechanical arrangement. There are three processes for moving in outer space. One of the processes is known to the modern scientist. It is called Ka Pota Vayu. Ka means outer space and Pota means ship. There is a second process also called Kapota Vayu. Kapota also means pigeon. One can train pigeons to carry one into outer space. The third process is very subtle. It is called Akash Patana. This Akash Patana system is also material, just as the mind can fly anywhere one likes without mechanical arrangement, so the Akash Patana airplane can fly at the speed of mind. Beyond this Akash Patana system is the Vaikuntha process, which is completely spiritual. The airplane sent by Lord Vishnu to carry Dhruva Maharaj to Sishumhar was a completely spiritual transcendental airplane. Material scientists can neither see such vehicles nor imagine how they fly in the air. The material scientist has no information about the spiritual sky, although it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Parastasmat tu bhavonya. Dandavat Pranam Vishvambar Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Danda Prabhuji, Danda Hare Krishna. Danda to all devotees, Hare Krishna.
Text 28. Maitreya Uvacha Nishamya Vaikuntha Niyoja Mukhayor Madhuchutam Vacham Uru Krama Priya Kritabhisheka Krita Nitya Mangalo Munin Pranam Yashisham Abhyavadyat. The great sage Maitreya continued, Maharaj Dhruva was very dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When he heard the sweet speeches of the Lord's chief associates in the Vaikuntha planet, he immediately took his sacred bath, dressed himself with suitable ornaments, and performed his daily spiritual duties. Therefore, he offered his respectful obeisances to the great sages present there and accepted their blessings. Purport. We should mark how dutiful Dhruva Maharaj was in his devotional service, even at the time he left this material world. He was constantly alert in the performance of devotional duties. Every devotee should take his bath early in the morning and decorate his body with tilak. In Kali Yuga, one can hardly acquire gold or jeweled ornaments, but the 12 tilak marks on the body are sufficient as auspicious decoration to purify the body. Since Dhruva Maharaj was living at the same time as Bhadrakshama, there were other great sages there. He did not become puffed up because the airplane sent by Lord Vishnu was waiting for him. As a humble Vaishnav, he accepted blessings from all the sages before riding on the plane, brought by the chief of the Vaikuntha associates. Text 29. Parityabhyacharya Dishnagriyam Parshadhav Abhivandhyacha Yeshatad Adi Istam Bibhradrupam Hiranmayam. Before getting aboard, Dhruva Maharaj worshipped the airplane, circumambulated it, and also offered obeisances to the associates of Vishnu. In the meantime, he became as brilliant and illuminating as molten gold. He was thus completely prepared to board the transcendental plane. Purport. In the absolute world, the plane, the associates of Lord Vishnu and Lord Vishnu himself are all spiritual. There is no material contamination. In quality, everything there is one. As Lord Vishnu is worshipable, so also are his associates, his paraphernalia, his airplane, and his abode. For everything of Vishnu's is as good as Lord Vishnu. Dhruva Maharaj knew all this very well as a pure Vaishnava, and he offered his respects to the associates and to the plane before riding in it. But in the meantime, his body changed into spiritual existence, and therefore it was illuminating like molten gold. And in this way, he also became one with the other paraphernalia of Vishnu Loka. Mayavadi philosophers cannot imagine how this oneness can be achieved even in different varieties. Their idea of oneness is that there is no variety. Therefore, they have become impersonalists. As Sishumar, Vishnu Loka, or Dhruva Loka are completely different from this material world. So a Vishnu temple within this world is also completely different from this material world. As soon as we are in a temple, we should know very well that we are situated differently from the material world. In the temple, Lord Vishnu, his throne, his room, and all other things associated with the temple are transcendental. The three modes, Sattva Gun, Rajagun, and Tamagun, have no entrance into the temple. It is said, therefore, that to live in the forest is in the mode of goodness, to live in the city is in the mode of passion, and to live in the brothel, liquor shop, or slaughterhouse is in the mode of ignorance. But to live in the temple means to live in Vaikuntha Loka. Everything in the temple is as worshipable as Lord Vishnu or Krishna. Text 30. Taro tanha padha putro tadharshanta kam agatam mrityor mordni padam dhatva aruro hadbhutam griham. When Dhruva Maharaj was attempting to get on the transcendental plane, he saw death personified approach him, not caring. He saw death personified approach him. Not caring for death, however, he took advantage of the opportunity to put his feet on the head of death, and thus he got up on the airplane, which was as big as a house. Purport. To take the passing away of a devotee and the passing away of a non-devotee as one and the same is completely misleading. While ascending the transcendental airplane, Dhruva Maharaj suddenly saw death personified before him. But he was not afraid. Instead of death's giving him trouble, Dhruva Maharaj took advantage of death's presence and put his feet on the head of death. People with a poor fund of knowledge do not know the difference between the death of a devotee and the death of a non-devotee. In this connection, an example can be given. A cat carries its kittens in its mouth, and it also catches a rat in its mouth. Superficially, the catching of the rat and the kitten appear to be one and the same, but actually they are not. When the cat catches a rat in its mouth, it means death for the rat. Whereas when the cat catches the kitten enjoys it. When Dhruva Maharaj boarded the airplane, he took advantage of the arrival of death personified, who came to offer him obeisances. Putting his feet on the head of death, he got up on the unique airplane, which is described here to be as big as a house, griham. There are many other similar instances in Bhagavat literature. It is stated that when Kardama Muni created an airplane to carry his wife, Devahuti, all over the universe, the airplane was like a big city, carrying many houses, lakes, and gardens. Modern scientists have manufactured big airplanes, but they are packed with passengers who experience all sorts of discomforts while riding in them. Material scientists are not even perfect in manufacturing a material airplane. In order to compare to the plane used by Kardama or the plane sent from Vishnu Loka, they must manufacture an airplane equipped like a big city, with all other comforts of life, lakes, gardens, parks, etc. Their plane must be able to fly in outer space and hover and visit all other planets. If they invent such a plane, they will not have to make different space stations for fuel to travel into outer space. Such a plane would have an unlimited supply of fuel, or like the plane from Vishnu Loka, would fly without it. Text 31. Tadadundu bayo nedor, mridanga panavadaya, gandharva mukhya prajago, patukushuma vrishtaya. At that time, drums and kettle drums resounded from the sky. The chief Gandharvas began to sing, and demigods showered flowers like torrents of rain upon Dhruva Maharaj. Text 32. Sachasvalokam arokshan sunitim jananim Dhruva anvasmarad agam hitva dinam yasye trivishtapam. Dhruva was seated in the transcendental airplane, which was just about to start, when he remembered his poor mother Suniti. He thought to himself, how shall I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? Purport. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother, Suniti. It was Suniti who had given him the clue which had now enabled him to be personally carried to Vaikuntha planet by the associates of Lord Vishnu. He now remembered her and wanted to take her with him. Actually, Dhruva Maharaja's mother, Suniti, was his Pata Pradarshaka Guru. Pata Pradarshaka Guru means the guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a guru is sometimes called Siksha Guru. Although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master, Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave him instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru, and generally the Siksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru. Still, he was not less obliged to Suniti. There is no question of carrying Narada Muni to Vaikuntha Loka, but Dhruva Maharaj thought of his mother. Whatever plan the Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates immediately fructifies. Similarly, a devotee who is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord can also fulfill his wishes by the grace of the Lord. The Lord fulfills his wishes independently, but a devotee fulfills his wishes simply by being dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, he was assured by the associates of Vishnu that Suniti also was going to Vaikuntha Loka in another plane. And Dhruva Maharaj had thought that he was going alone to Vaikuntha Loka, leaving his mother behind, which was not very auspicious because people would criticize him for going alone to Vaikuntha Loka and not carrying Suniti with him, who had given him so much. But Dhruva also considered that he was not personally the Supreme. Therefore, only if Krishna fulfilled his desires would it be possible. Krishna could immediately understand his mind, and he told Dhruva that his mother was also going with him. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord, and thus whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled. And thus ends our reading for today. We'll continue from text 33 on Friday. Were there any comments or questions from the assembled devotees? Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Sripad Bhakti Madhava Puri Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Guru Maharaj, Srila Guru Dev, Srila Acharya Dev, Srila Shanta Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Rupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the worldwide devotees. Sama Bhaktivedanta ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Navadvip Dham ki jai, Mayapur Dham ki
Jai.
jai, Shringapoli
Jai.
Dham ki jai, Jagannath
Jai.
Puri Dham ki jai, Jagannath Balade Subhadra Ju ki jai,
Jai.
Gangi ki, Yamuna Mai ki jai,
Jai.
Giri Govardhan, Gupta Govardhan Dham ki jai, Vrindavan Dham ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jai
Jai.
Harinam Sankirtan Yagya ki jai, Scientific
Jai.
Sankirtan Yagya ki jai.
Jai.
Jai Princeton Bhaktivedanta Institute ki jai, Sri Chaitanya Saraswat Institute ki jai, Sri
Jai.
Chaitanya Saraswat Mat ki jai.
Jai.
Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Hari
Hare
Bol.
Hare Bol.
Jai Shrimati Uma Devi Dasi ki jai, Sripad Krishna Prabhu ki jai, Jai
Jai.
Vishwambara Prabhu ki jai. Hare
Jai.
Krishna.
श्रीपाद कृष्ण केशव प्रभु जी की जय।
Joy.
Gurudev.
Everyone.
Vibo.
धन्यवाद।
Take care.
Pranam Prabhu, Dhandat, all devotees. Ending or?